Meron kasing claim itong si Vice President Sara Duterte na kung sinasabi raw sa mga media reports na nasa 30,000 yung mga pinatay kaugnay dito sa drug war ng kanyang ama, dapat hindi lang daw 181 yung pieces of evidence na nandyan sa ICC, kundi dapat at least 30,000 din. Should that really be the case when you try to litigate this case sa ICC?
Not really, Christian. So, dalawa yung masasabi ko about that framing, no? Yung una is, nasa stage pa lang tayo na magko-confirm pa lang ng charges. So, ang pinipresent dito, ang gustong i-kumbinse ng prosecutor yung pre-trial chamber na may sufficient evidence to establish substantial grounds to believe. So, hindi niya kailangan ilatag lahat nung meron siya at this stage. Kailangan lang niyang mapakita na may sufficient evidence for trial. So it is highly likely na meron pang mga names, meron pang evidence relating to the thousands of victims that had been floating around, no, had been discussed. Pangalawa, yung crimes against humanity is not a process or a crime of numbers. Numbers would be relevant, no? But for one, as we have been seeing, the elements of crime ng crimes against humanity requires at least one person yung mamatay, no? But that's because this is murder. So, but we look at the number requirement in the context of the widespread contextual element of crimes against humanity. So, yung widespread, ang ibig niyang sabihin, large scale, no, pangmalawakan, pwede siyang geographic yung scope, pwedeng population yung scope, or systematic, no? So yung systematic standard is organized, planado, hindi random, hindi isolated yung pagpatay. What we want to emphasize is yung sa Rome Statute, ang contextual elements na to ay or, no? Pwede mong mapakita yung widespread or systematic. So even if, let's say, no, the worst case na hindi ma-establish yung widespread in terms of the number, although you can establish it by geography, you can still win the case at the end of the day by proving that it was systematic. So this is not an and requirement.
Okay. Is there a threshold number when it comes to proving whether the crime was systematic or widespread? Example, pwede bang 10 yan, or it has to be at least 10 or at least 43 as what was mentioned during the initial appearance?
There is no threshold number. The chamber and the court, if there's a trial, really will look at the context and the circumstances and how the crime is designed, no? So as the elements of crime will say, enough na maisa for it to be murder. But it will really analyze ano ba yung architecture ng policy na to, ng plano na to, and in the course of implementing the policy, if may mga namatay, it's enough for it to be the crime against humanity of murder. So it's not a numbers game. There's no threshold.
Okay. In the same vein, kailangan ba na kung 30,000 yung lumalabas sa media reports dito sa Pilipinas, dapat ba 30,000 pieces of evidence din?
Hindi rin. Unang-una, hindi naman din natin sigurado na yun yung ina-allege ng prosecutor. No? I mean, 30,000 is a number that we hear from different sources, but that's not exactly what the prosecutor is saying. Hindi pa natin alam yun at this point kasi yung 181 nga na initial disclosed evidence to the other parties, we don't know that yet. But also, kapag nakumpirma yung charges and we come to trial, as I said earlier, it could very well be the case na mas dadami yung ipipresent na victims, na families ng victims. So at this point, the 30,000 number is just something that we call from the reports, but that's not the case that the prosecutor is making.
Okay. Related to this, no, kasi may mga claim ng racial bias itong si Attorney Harry Roque. Na for the record, sa mga viewers natin, isa po siya sa mga nagsulong para maging bahagi po ng Rome Statute yung Pilipinas. Before. Meron siyang isang kine-claim dito, yung proseso. Bakit daw ang tagal between the initial appearance at saka yung confirmation of charges, September 23, 2025 pa. Basahin ko yung complete quote niya, no? Sabi niya, pumasok sa kulungan ng dating presidente ng March 12 at tinakdang panahon para doon sa confirmation of charges, September 23. Tama ba yan na 6 na buwan nakakulong na yung tao kahit hindi pa tayo sigurado kung merong probable cause laban sa kanya? Meron bang, tama ba itong sinasabi ni Atty. Roque?
Hindi ko maintindihan yan, Christian, yung comment na yan. Kasi kung pakikinggan mo yung sinabi ng pre-trial chamber, kaya nila sinet sa September kasi ang daming hinihingi ng depensa. Nag-file nga sila ng 2 motion. Di ba yun yung premise? Bibigyan namin kayo ng sapat na panahon na mag-prepare for the confirmation of charges. And in the meantime, that time period from that initial appearance to September should also be enough time for you to raise all the things that you find problematic in the arrest or in the jurisdiction. So that was for the benefit of the former president. So yun hindi ko maintindihan. Pangalawa is also, I mean, they would need the time. In fact, kung maaalala natin, they wanted to move the initial appearance kasi they wanted to confer rather, they wanted to strategize. And then the last thing I would say is they can apply for interim release. So hindi naman yun mutually exclusive, no? So they can, in the meantime, ask the court to release the former president with conditions, probably in this case, and that satisfies that complaint.
Okay. Speaking of interim release, that's an option available to former President Rodrigo Duterte. Pero ano ba yung kailangan masatisfy ng defense to be able to be granted that privilege, I suppose, no, yung interim release?
So we have to go back to bakit ba nag-issue ng warrant of arrest in the first place. So hindi kasi sa ICC kasi hindi enough na, of course meron kang isa-satisfy. In the Philippines ang konsepto na yan ay probable cause, no? Pero in the ICC ang konsepto ay reasonable grounds to believe. So it's fairly easy to satisfy that compared to, let's say, the confirmation of charges. But that's not enough, no? So magi-issue ang pre-trial chamber ng warrant if any of these 3 things would be present. Number 1, it's important or it is necessary to secure the attendance of the accused, or in this case, the suspect, sa mga pagdinig, no? So kung para ma-ensure na sisipot siya. Pangalawa, kailangan ng arrest or detention dahil may posibilidad na makapag-exert siya ng influence over the witnesses, can interfere with the investigation, as has been the experience for other suspects, no, na nai-intimidate yung mga witnesses because meron pa siyang kalayaan or freedom to do certain things to them while he's not in detention. Tapos pangatlo is kung papakawalan ba siya, ay i-commit ba niya yung mga same crimes that he was charged and arrested for. So in the assessment, kung i-grant ba yung application for interim release, titingnan ulit ng korte yon. Ito bang tatlong ito, yung risks ba nila, wala na. In that case, kung wala na and they are certain about it, they can grant the interim release. Otherwise, they can keep or hold the former president in detention or can release with certain conditions.
When you say interim release, does it mean na pababalikin siya sa kanyang country of origin or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. So, kailangan nga nila tingnan yung circumstances and see ano ba yung risks. So, if i-grant man nila, there would likely be conditions that they will impose. And one of them is not to leave a certain location.
So, pwedeng sa the Netherlands or any ICC jurisdiction ba yan?
That's right. I don't recall any circumstance na sa labas ng Netherlands kasi nga yung purpose is accessibility of the person. So, it would likely be in the vicinity.
Kasi I was thinking, ba't naman pababalikin sa Pilipinas as yun ang kiniklaim ng kanyang mga supporters, pina-aresto nga to begin with.
Exactly.
Bakit ibabalik? Diba?
Yes. So, titingnan nila kung may chance ba na sisipot pa ulit yan kung pababalikin mo kung saan siya kinuha.